All right, Jules, let's stick with this a little more because as I said, I am passionate about this. And I just kind of want to say something. What do we want a good head of recruitment to do? And obviously, you want him to understand football. You want him to understand the manager's needs.
Yeah.
But in my experience, having spoken to hundreds of managers as part of my job over the years, they often fall into a trap where they think, I want this guy because only he can do the job. They don't have the idea that there is somebody else who can do the same job for cheaper or in a better condition or whatever. And the reality is, unless you're signing prime Messi or Cristiano or Mbappe, there's maybe like 7 or 8 players in the world who can only do one job. And I go back to this, right? Whether it's Terrell Malacia, whether it's Anthony, these are examples at United where he's like, oh, I need a winger who can do this and that and blah, blah, blah. I know Anthony, I trust Anthony.
Yeah, which is a good thing. Sometimes your manager, you want to work again with some people who you've worked
Can be a good
and you know
thing,
well.
right?
Yeah.
But you end up overpaying. You don't end up considering.
I know.
I'll refer you to my favorite example of this because it's somebody who is honest about it. When Jurgen Klopp needed a winger at Liverpool, back in 2015, 2016, whenever it was, he's like, yeah, I want Julien Brandt. Julien Brandt, really talented. Julien Brandt, blah, blah, blah. Dortmund, I know him, blah, blah, blah. Brandt, blah, 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 right? And then the club say, nah, we got all these smart nerds over here. We have I'm blanking on the guy's name now, but, our head of recruitment.
Michael Edwards.
Michael Edwards. You want Mo Salah. Mo Salah is a much better option than Julien Brandt. Club's like, no, Julien Brandt, right? And then what happens?
You don't know how Brandt would have done at Liverpool.
We don't. But I'm pretty sure Julien Brandt would never have achieved the heights that Mo Salah achieved.
No, maybe not. But
maybe
he could
not.
have brought something different.
Yeah, something not as good, right?
No, but it's
yeah,
true.
something different, right? Like I want to eat filet mignon, and you bring me skirt steak. Yeah, it's something different. Or you bring me tofu. It's different. It's not filet mignon, right? The club had the intelligence and the preparation to say, look, Mohamed Salah under Klopp can perform far better than Julien Brandt. That is the decision that we're going to make as part of our committee, as part of our process. Klopp had the humility to accept that. And what happened? Mohamed Salah became one of the best players.
It's not always that simple.
It's not always that simple.
Like
but the point is, if he had said, it has to be Julien Brandt, then at the other end, you end up overpaying for Julien Brandt.
Maybe, but you don't know. Julien Brandt might have become a world-class player in the club at Liverpool as well. Nobody can say what would have happened if Brandt had signed and not Salah. But now it turned out
we can say we've seen Julien Brandt play for the last 10 years. He's a good footballer. He's not Mohamed Salah.
When Mohamed Salah signed, did you think that he would have this career at Liverpool? No, you didn't. Nobody did.
No.
Nobody did. Even Klopp has said that he has been surprised. So nobody did. So you don't know about Brandt. I get your point, and it's a very, very good point. I'm just saying, and that's why earlier I said about middle ground and balance. It's not always, I know Sven Mislintat is not a very good sporting director, but look at the mess that he's done at Ajax in the space of one summer where he was only his signing and nothing about what the manager wanted, etc. So sometimes it works, sometimes
you need to take it
work.
into account. You need to have the good chemistry there.
Yeah, there's more and more managers who watch a lot of other games than their teams, who watch loads of players who are really interested in that side of the game, and some managers who don't care. It's just that they want to sign that guy because they share the same agent, for example. How many times have we seen that?
Oh, I think specifically in the case of Manchester United, where you have a guy like Erik ten Hag, who did very well at Ajax, working with scouting and recruitment. And I'm not saying he wasn't involved in transfers, but it's not like, he was sitting at home, staying up all night, watching tapes of Brian Brobby, right? The reality is other people said, okay, what do you need? You need a guy with these characteristics? These are the guys we found, blah, blah, blah. What do you think? Watches a couple of videos, says, okay, this is my, top 3 choices, and then delegates to the club.
Yeah, it happens like that more often than not. It happens more like that where a manager says to his sporting director and his recruitment team, I need a right back. I want these qualities, good crosser of the ball, very good defensively, never beaten one-on-one. I don't know, whatever profile you want and need for a right back. And then his team of recruitment comes back and says, this is the top 5 that we have within our budget. So here is the number 1, here's the number 2, here's number 3. Then this manager goes and watches a lot of tapes and a lot of data and stats over those 5 players and say, of those 5, I would rather him being the number 1 and go for him first. This is how it happens most of the time. But then you're right. There's a lot
Except
of
for
cases.
the part about managers going and watching a lot of tapes and a lot of
but
data.
there's
'Cause
also
that
a
doesn't
lot of
happen.
cases where you're right. The manager says, no, we're going to do it my way. I want these players. I don't want to hear about anybody else who plays in that position. It's him or nothing, or I'm not happy. And
that's
very
what
often-
happened at Manchester United, and
Very
that was a
often.
big part, I think, of the problem and why
Yeah,
they
for
find
sure.
themselves
For
in
sure.
this situation.